Hey everyone, we finally hit 1 year of investing $10 a day. We've got some pretty good returns so far. Make sure you stick around in the video because I'll be giving away $150 to 3 lucky individuals. But other than that, let's look at the Robinhood portfolio. So it looks like we've hit $4,800 so far after a year of investing. Just about a 29% annual return it looks like. But if we look at the weighted annual return, we're actually sitting at 47%. So if we compare to the S&P 500, we're sitting at about an alpha, or if you beat the market by whatever percentage, that's what the alpha is. We're sitting at an alpha of 14%. And for the NASDAQ, we're actually sitting at a 13 alpha. So these are actually pretty good performance indicators. We have a couple stocks in here that actually drove a lot of that performance. But just scrolling down here, we're looking at some of our biggest holdings. I can show by dollar amount, so you can look, pause if you want to see what the dollar amounts are, with AutoZone at the very bottom at $2. If we switch to our total percentage change, this is where we're going to see our biggest percent jumps. And JD and Alibaba have really drove a lot of the recent growth. So if we're looking at the 3-month, or actually even like the 1 month, these guys have grown our portfolio quite a bit. But anyways, going down through the portfolio, because a lot of you guys are kind of interested to see what stocks exactly we have in it, because every single day I'm just posting whatever we're buying. $10 a day, we buy like 3 stocks. And, I don't have enough time to really dive into the portfolio every time. So I'll try to do like monthly updates. But anyways, Ulta Beauty, that's our largest holding. Honestly, we're pretty much break even on it. But we have bought it before and sold it before. We've sold, I think, at about a 40% return on this one. So if we're looking at the 1 year, I think we started buying around this level, kind of more the beginning of when we started this challenge. And then we sold right around here at the top. So since then, Ulta has fell quite a bit. And we started buying again around under $400 range. And during this dip, we bought quite a bit as well. So overall, our average is just about the price that it is right now. Now jumping to the next one, Intel. This is somewhat of a newer position, but it has grown to be our second largest holding, 11% of the portfolio. And this was started really when we had this extreme drop back 3 months ago. And we started buying just around like $24 or so. I think I sold a couple positions, bought like $200 at once. And basically throughout this entire, dip here, we've been buying up and even on the upside around here. So Intel overall over the past year is down quite a bit, and over the past 5 years is down a lot. So this is a bit of a speculative play. So technically it's under book value right now. So it's technically undervalued, but the risk involved with this company is quite high. So jumping into something like this is not for the faint of heart. But anyways, we're just about break even on the position, which is great. If it continues going down, I'll probably load up a little bit more, but I think this has some potential if they're able to turn around the company to get some pretty good returns. Now scrolling down to our 2 Chinese stocks, JD.com has been incredible. We built up quite a position on it and just recently sold about $160 worth, just around, I think, last week around this price or so. Honestly, when looking at speculative rises, these kinds of rises could go on for quite a bit. And if we look at the historical returns on this, over the past 5 years, it has gone down quite a bit. And based on that average, it's still fairly below that average price. So I think every maybe 15, 30% that it goes up, I'll be liquidating this position slowly. But to be honest, a lot of the Chinese stocks are just way more better priced than a lot of the American companies. So as you can see here, this is a pretty high growing company and their PE ratio is 17. And I think their forward PE is probably around 10. So I think it's a pretty good price, but I don't want to buy any more at this price. Like I already got, as you can see, 73% return on it. And kind of the same deal with Alibaba. So this is another position that we built up over time. This one was basically bought up around all throughout this dip here. buying a bunch under 80. We got some under 60. But recently, Alibaba has just started skyrocketing with all the other Chinese stocks. And this is really related to the Chinese government stimulating the economy and stimulating the markets. So this is another one that, if it goes up 15, 30%, I'll start liquidating slowly, which we have liquidated quite a bit from Alibaba. We sold about $200 worth. So there's that. As for PayPal, this is a position that we were building up for quite a while. We got a decent size on it. We bought about $300 worth. It's worth $400 now, but it's gone up 33% in the past 3 months. I wasn't really building the position any larger, so that's totally fine with me. But we basically bought it everywhere under $60. So this is one that, since COVID has kind of dropped a lot. And, buying up in this crazy dip seems like the play. But looking at its PE, sitting at 19, and I'm pretty sure the forward PE is probably like 12 or 14. I don't remember 100%, but I'll probably be holding this one, hopefully until like $100 a share till I start liquidating, depending on how soon that happens. If it happens in like 2 years, it's probably not worth selling at $100 a share. So next, long-term treasuries. So those Chinese stocks that we sold off, there are not very many companies that seem to be extremely undervalued right now. So it's difficult for me to throw in these large amounts of money, relatively speaking, into some random stocks. So one of the things I'm thinking is I could start building up a small position in long-term bonds. And the reason for that is the Federal Reserve will be cutting rates. It's already cut rates by 50 basis points. Usually when that happens, rates continue being cut and you end up seeing rates slowly being cut until they bottom out. Long-term treasuries or long-term bonds are very highly impacted. Their price is fairly volatile whenever rates go up or down. So if rates keep getting dropped, basically long-term bonds will go up in price. So looking at the 5-year here, when rates started getting hiked, treasuries kind of dropped a lot. So basically this is kind of like a cash position, but a little bit more potential for getting some return on it while the cash is sitting there. And that's not even counting the dividends that will be coming in. CVS is pretty high debt. I guess pharmaceutical and services company. Built up about a $300 position. Not much to say here. It's gone up a little bit, but it's still in quite a big dip over the past 5 years. So I'm pretty happy with this positioning. And Comcast is, I think, a pretty high moat company, but very high debt as well. We're basically break even on it, but it's also in somewhat dip territory. But based on the 5-year, it's not really moved anywhere, and it's not really cheap enough for me to continue building the position, so I'm just holding that one for now. Paycom, I haven't really been paying much attention to, but it looks like it's grown just a little bit over the past 3 months. Built up about a $300 position, but based on the prices that I was buying at around this dip, it seemed fairly undervalued for the amount of growth it had. Looking at its price to earnings, it's 20, but I think this one's closer to even 10 for forward price to earnings ratio. So just holding that as well. Charter, another one. This one we actually got about a 40% return at some point, and we sold off about $100 worth, I believe. But it has gone, so we sold about $100 around here, and it has dipped back a little bit. So I may, this is high debt as well, so it's a bit risky, but I may start buying just a little bit up before it maybe shoots up even more. But as you can see, that 1-year dip is pretty nuts. And then over the past 5 years, it's gone down quite a bit. Disney is another fairly good company. You could argue that Disney has probably one of the best moats for what it does. We used to have a fairly large position. It used to be the largest holding in the portfolio back around this area. We bought up in all these dips and then sold off right at the tip top. So recently we've had this big dip in here, and you know what, we started buying back the position. So now we're sitting at about $200, and hopefully we'll build up to like $300 or so in the position, but we're basically break even on that one as well. Google, gotta love the Google. Everybody loves Google, hopefully. Fairly small position. It dipped a bit right over here where we started buying. We didn't want to just go all in on it, but we started buying up and then it rebounded a little bit. It's kind of hard for me to continue buying this one and building the position at this price. I think it's just a little bit overvalued. You know, I think under 160, I'll probably slowly build up the position, not really, you know, throw too much money into it. So Berkshire, that's a very good company. It's Warren Buffett's company, but we've slowly built up a position, but this one's just been, you know, driving up with the stock price. Past year, 34%. I mean, this thing's growing a lot. I was hoping for some kind of dip in this company. Funny thing is just been growing and, you know, can't really buy at this price, I think. But, you know, some people could say that it's a good value at this price. But anyways, super small position there. Southwest has been in the portfolio at this position level for probably over 6 months. So not really doing much with that. The only way I would probably buy more is if it drops under 25. But as you can see here over the 5 years, it's dipped quite a bit. It's gone down quite a bit. But I think there's potential with this one because they've got some of the best profit margins out of all the airlines. You could say they have a bit of a moat. So that's one that I might grow if it does drop quite a bit. And then Meta, another one that just keeps going up like Berkshire. You know, it's way above the price that I want to pay for it. I think this one, you know, I need it under $400. I don't know if it'll get there anytime soon or ever. But maybe under $500, I'll, you know, throw in a couple bucks. But as you can see, 35% return, but it's only off $20 or so. So that's a little unfortunate. And then AutoZone. I kind of look at AutoZone kind of like the long-term bonds. This company is very recession resistant. Multiple recessions that it's gone through, it's continued to drive its growth and its revenue. Its growth is, you know, pretty decent, at least the stock price. And as you can see, it's fairly steady. And if we go to the max, it kind of shows the same thing. Other than this somewhat recession around 2017. But it's like it didn't really drop that much compared to the market. So I'm hoping this goes under 3,000 because I'll just load up small amounts of money into this. But if I go down here into our historical, we actually did a lot of buying and selling of this. And we would basically buy during small dips. And then when it would go up to a level where I thought it was a bit overvalued, I would sell it off and make, you know, a couple percent, like 10, 15% on those flips. So it's been pretty decent on that. But, you know, other than that, like we're gonna continue doing the $10 a day. It seems like we might hit $10,000 a lot quicker than I thought, depending on, you know, how the market is. We're always susceptible to market risk. So if in the entire market just crashes, you know, almost every stock will be carried with it. Anyways, guys, I'll be giving away $50 to 3 lucky individuals. Make sure you look at that pinned comment down below. Make sure you enter. Anyways, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.